Well, I think in terms of the specific catastrophe reinsurance market, the last 2 years we've seen a sort of a tightening of the screws in terms of from the reinsurance perspective. Reinsurers will maybe dispute that, but we can clearly see in terms of the deductibles in which companies need to buy down to, that have increased substantially. The alternative resources that they need to find, the capacity in terms of the how much lines the reinsurers are prepared to provide. Specifically, the more established reinsurers tend to retract a bit in terms of their capacity in the market. That does allow new entrants to come into the market, but the general market is that there is a bit of a slightly tightening in terms of specifically by increasing the retention levels of the current programs, or at least over the last 2 years, definitely. Yeah, I think one of the main caveats of the Knysna fires was that it was actually an unmodeled type of peril that we have faced. So usually when we look at the catastrophe losses, we tend to believe of hail losses or flood losses or earthquake. And historically, we haven't paid a lot of attention specifically on fire losses compared to Australia and those countries which experience that, or even California, where those type of perils are quite prevalent. So I think we were a bit caught by surprise in terms of the accumulation of exposure in the Knysna areas, and therefore I think the market was slightly unprepared for that type of peril. It is quite clear that in future we will have to, as people love to build their houses among the trees and the windows, that is the direction where we have to go to, and focus also on the accumulation of that type of risk going forward. Yeah, I think actually that is the tragedy in terms of our current situation in South Africa, that in a way we do not provide sufficient solutions for that type of peril. When you look at the historical losses globally in the world, it will always be about a hurricane, or there will be maybe flood events happening in Europe, or a large hailstorm or tornado in the USA, or maybe fires. But in terms of drought insurance or protecting people against a water supply is quite poorly developed globally. And I think that is the problem. It's not that we haven't yet developed suitable reinsurance products and implemented them that can actually solve that direct need in the market. And I think it is possible to do that not on the normal attritional bar, but when we have extreme events happening, and they will continue, because in terms of the population growth in Cape Town, it is not whether the climate change or not, that is maybe the secondary impact, but the real fact is that the populations are increasing and the water resources are not. And I don't think we put enough resources into developing suitable products for specifically drought and water restrictive type of policies globally, not even in South Africa. AON Benfield has always, as a general entity, invested quite highly into the whole concept of risk management, especially in terms of through the impact forecasting group. They're developing their own catastrophe models that they have developed in terms of the actuarial pool that they have as part of the company. I think the emphasis of AON Benfield specifically be quite quantitative in terms of the analysis of risk, specifically also catastrophe risk and the development of that. So, and I think we need to understand that, and one needs to separate a bit in the way it's popular, just being for the popular media, but you need to work on real facts that are available in the market to take you forward, and not being deviated by maybe hysteria in some sides of the way in terms of things.